Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, JB, here with my lovely co-host, Uncle Ron.
I'm suddenly in a bad mood, dude.
Why?
Because I went over just to see who was on Twitch, because I know Uncle Ron's driving, all new, coming back on the 4th. And I was going to maybe go over there and maybe just kind of play some games, do whatever. Just seeing who's on. You know, and then I found out that Bubba the Love Sponge has a Twitch account.
What the fuck's the Bubba the Love
Sponge?
Say it. What the fuck is that?
He's like, there's some guy that wishes he was Howard Stern.
All right.
But like Howard from the 90s, kind of Howard. So I go over there and I see a notification, one saying that a subscription is expired. I'll go back. I'll take care of Granny later. But then the other one is saying that somebody gifted me a subscription to the Bubba the Love Sponge Army on Twitch.
That's very sweet of them.
No, fuck them.
No.
I didn't ask for their damn. I don't try to support. I just wanted to hear this idiot talk. Cause talk like this.
It could be. It's fine.
Is it?
Maybe.
I don't want to give this idiot any money.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
You're supposed to be my friend and support me in these matters.
Oh, whatever.
You're just a maniac at large.
Maybe. Who knows?
You look nothing. Never mind. I'm not going to spoil the episode.
Oh, you're right. So, I guess I don't have to ask you how's it going with you. You can already let us all know, man.
Yeah, that's right. August 4th.
Right. So, we have a pretty fun episode tonight. I am very fucking excited that we're kind of like, and I don't mean this in a negative way whatsoever, but that we're kind of past the Two-Fisted Tales episodes now.
Yes.
We're kind of back to like real Tales from the Crypt, which I'm not saying the other ones aren't real.
They aren't.
They are, obviously. But
no, they aren't. There's nothing scary about them. I would say that they're borderline fucking stupid. This actually has a bit of a twist to it.
Yeah.
That I'll be honest, didn't see coming. Mainly because I was expecting something even dumber than we've gotten the last couple weeks. But then I was pleasantly surprised, and nothing turns me on more than an old librarian. So there you go.
Isn't that the fucking truth?
It's not just a dusty bookshelf.
No, he likes it dusty all over.
I do. I have to, before I go down for lunch, I have to blow the dust off. That's the only way I like it.
Gross. So, anyways, we are going to be doing the Tales from the Crypt episode from Season 4, Episode 10, Maniac at Large. But let's go ahead and introduce our fucking guest for this week, who honestly, man, he hasn't been on since The Pedophile. So here we go.
Who? I didn't hear you. The what? I'm sorry. My earphones went. My earphones went high. And what are you doing here with a bucket of chicken and a 6-pack of beer?
Right. Well, I think Chris Hansen went and got him, to say the least.
Okay.
But anyways, here we go. Let's bring our guest for tonight's episode, Shaun Smithson. How's it going, Shaun?
Going pretty good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Awesome.
Dude, I'm excited to have you on. man, since it's been a little while, can you tell everybody some of the things that you've been up to with Smithson Creations?
Oh, I've been doing tons. Kitchen utensils. Been doing laser logos for people. Going to be starting to do Zippos, and also got into spray paint art.
Oh, really?
Which was I don't know if you saw one of my posts where I did start doing planets and stuff.
No, I didn't get to see that yet.
Sean's going to start
really
tagging
cool,
the side
man.
of walls.
You should.
Pretty soon, cops are going to be chasing him. He's like Basquiat.
I'll be
Train cards, everything.
Come around with one of those big tubes you see people run around with and go to a wall.
You need to. You do.
He's going to start tagging the walls, and then you're going to see him running away on his skateboard.
I love it. I really do. So, anyways, we got David chiming in. In the comic book title cover for the episode has a woman screaming and a knife with a hand, and it makes you think of those classic slasher films. Yeah,
Define
well, a hand with a knife. Yeah.
Define classic.
As I'm over here doing like the jerk off fucking motion.
The cover of my comic book had a woman screaming, and it wasn't a knife in the guy's hand.
Hey, Lacey.
So, man, that's really, really cool, man. I'm very excited for a lot of the things that you've been doing. You and I have been talking a lot personally about some things, and you've been showing me quite a few different things that you've done, and it's pretty fucking impressive, man. I have to say, it's one of those things as somebody who, as you know, I have a welding background and everything. But I have this really, really big appreciation for anybody that can do woodworking. And I'm not, disregarding, working with metal, but the fact is with metal, if something happens, I can remelt it, add more to it, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that with wood all the time. And it makes me have this whole appreciation for anybody that can actually go through and do anything with it, to say the least.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on here. The only time I saw any welding is when they had to weld my fat ass off the couch. I was on an episode of my 600-pound life. Yeah, but
had to re-weld the crane.
Yeah, it was not fun. They had to take a wall off my house to get me out.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this episode a little bit. So, last week I did the episode, or not last, blah, blah, blah. A while ago, I did an episode, and Ron talked about the comic. But this week, Ron is going to go ahead and lead off our discussion on, well, actually, I forgot a whole section of this. So first off, this episode came out August 19th of 1992, and it is based off the Crime Suspense Stories, issue number 27 comic book, title of the same name. This episode is directed by John Frankenheimer, who is best known for taking over the island of Dr.
No, he
Moreau.
did more crap than that, though, I think.
Well, yeah, he's definitely done quite a bit of shit. There's no arguing that. But as far as things that I care about, he did The Prophecy. Other than that, he's done a lot of shit. With The Iceman Cometh, Story of a Love Story, The Horsemen, The Gypsy Moths, Path to War. He's done a lot of shit, but not too much up my alley personally. And this episode, the screenplay was written by Mae Woods, who's pretty much best known for, I guess, being the assistant to Walter Hill most of the time on a lot of this. And considering he was one of the big producers for Tales from the Crypt, there's obviously going to be some kind of connection there for sure. This episode also stars Blythe Danner, one of Ron's favorite actresses.
Well, no, I didn't say she's my favorite actress. I just said that back in the day, Blythe could get it.
Yeah, that's fair. She was in the Meet the Parents series. She was the crazy lady in Paul, which is probably one of my favorite roles of her. A ton of TV stuff. I mean, just tons and tons of TV.
And she pushed that fucking Gwyneth Paltrow on us with her pussy-scented candles.
Well,
why don't you take a conscious uncoupling from that bullshit, Gwyneth?
This episode also has. Oh man.
Babatunde?
No. Is it
Salome
Jens? Which man, talk about somebody who was really, really pretty back in the day too.
Salome Jens, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was in Green Lantern, Cats and Dogs. She was in Deep Space Nine.
I only watched TNG.
Oh shit.
Well, fair enough. She did the Superboy TV series.
God.
Crest. She's been in a lot of shit. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? But a lot of TV. Just like the majority of the people who do anything on Tales from the Crypt, you get this huge chunk of TV stuff that they've done. We also got Clarence Williams III in here as Grady.
R.I.P. brother.
Yeah. He actually died on my birthday. I just want to throw that out there. But what would you say?
Squad.
Yeah, you would.
That's probably what he's biggest for.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be the biggest one? Not American Dragon?
Not what?
American Dragon?
No, probably not.
No. He was also in Reindeer Games.
Okay. But he's not the bomb in Phantom, Joe.
No. He was.
He played the security guard in this episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in quite a bit of shit, dude. Quite a bit. That's for
but
sure.
I think Clarence is most widely known on a wider basis as a member of the Mod Squad.
Ooh, awesome. And we also have what was his name?
Adamant?
No.
Babatunde.
Yes, there we go. He's in Life, How High, Dead Again, Black Dynamite. I mean,
I love Life.
He's
that movie is so good.
He has a lot of stuff still in production right now too, which is quite surprising. And then, of course, we do have Adam Ant in this, who's probably best known for music.
I guess that's what you call it.
That's why I recognized him.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess before we go ahead and let you go and take off with this episode, let's catch up on some of these comments here. David, he also directed the original Manchurian Candidate. Yep.
With Frank Sinatra.
And let's see, the episode also stars. Yep.
Thanks, David, doing our job for us.
Right. And we got Joe. What's up, gents? Here to support my brother Shaun. Hey, you can come here and support us too, Joe. What the hell, man?
I need a bra to support me, so let's go.
Right. We don't have the pedophile law no more, so there's no hate that should be spread on the show towards Joe whatsoever. So anyways, Ron, take it away, bro.
Okay, Maniac at Large. Blythe Danner is working at a library with the elderly librarian who is very, very strict and by the book, and she's kind of a bitch, played by Salome Jens. And basically, there's a maniac at large, and that's what it says on the front of the newspaper. And whoever the hell wrote that newspaper headline needs to be shot, because that is just shitty reporting. It's like, there's a maniac at large. Let's cause a bunch of bullshit so people have to run around and all sorts of other stuff. So Clarence Williams III plays Grady, the security guard. Salome, I don't remember her name in the episode, so I'm just gonna old lady and Blythe Danner. That's their names.
Pritchard.
Old lady and Blythe Danner. And so there are some punk ass bitches that are in the library. She goes over there to get Grady to get them out of there. It's funny how I can remember Clarence Williams III's name, because he's the bomb. But she gets him to go over there, and they got a switchblade out, and they're carving into the table. And my favorite part is when she's like, "You're not allowed back in here till you learn how to, behave like actual people or whatever."
They were carving into the table.
Well, that's what it looked like. I watched it on fucking YouTube. I mean, come on, the quality wasn't that great. Anyway,
okay, fair enough.
So Blythe Danner takes the the switchblade, and she kind of puts it in her pocket and she holds on to it. All the while, there's this guy, this creepy looking guy who's like reading up on serial killers, and he just keeps talking about serial killers, and he won't shut the fuck up about serial killers. If it was nowadays, he'd have a true crime podcast that no one would listen to.
Everybody would. It'd probably be huge.
Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah, he'd be selling out Red Rocks. So basically, you know, throughout the episode, little things happen that kind of drive Blythe Danner's schizophrenia, I guess, is the best way to call it.
Right.
She keeps getting more and more crazed, and she keeps worrying about the killer. And Adam Ant's character is not helping by saying, well, you know, the next victim could be a woman. And it's the last killing happened around this time. Like, would you shut the fuck up, goody two shoes?
You would think with as much money as he had back in the day and everything that he would have, like,
he was
had a better set of teeth.
So, you know, she's getting riled up and everything, and then there's like little coincidences that happen. Like, apparently there was somebody in the basement freaking, you know, cutting up books, and there's a cop that shows up played by Oba Babatunde, and they're like, oh no, it was just punks, and it's no big deal. So things get really like to a fever pitch at one point where she thinks that like the alarm goes off. And she in the library, and she's really freaking out at this point. And then there's somebody banging on the door, and it turns out it's just somebody who shows up late because he works weird hours, and the head old lady librarian lets him come late to drop off books and pick up books, and et cetera, et cetera. And apparently he has a back condition that makes him all hunched over. A lot of really weird coincidences until Blythe Danner accuses the old lady of being the killer because she said something about, I have my own way of getting rid of Grady. So she's like, you're going to kill him, aren't you? And then I'm going to give birth to a woman who has pussy candles. And then she, so eventually Blythe Danner freaks out, kills the old lady, and then like is sitting there and is like, I'm going to have to resign, and I'm going to have to move again. And all the while Grady comes up, he's like, I was locking the back door and I heard the alarm go. Oh my God. You know, and that's kind of the way it is. So apparently Blythe Danner has been killing all these people because she gets freaked out. And yeah.
Right. Well, they don't even say that in the episode.
Well, I mean, let's be real honest. You know, it was her.
Well, you just kind of ruined the comic book like a douche.
Look, just because we're talking about pussy candles doesn't mean you got to bring up douches
before the episode. It's like, let me go ahead and spoil it for him. Now he doesn't.
I didn't read the fucking comic book. All right,
because I told you right before we did this.
I wasn't paying any attention.
Yeah, you paid enough attention to take that part.
Look, I will put this gorilla tape on my mouth and rip my skin off as penance, or if somebody wants to send me $100.
All right. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the comic book, he was on the 6th victim, correct? Or in the TV show?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I was sure of. Now there was one extra victim that was in the comic book that they don't really go through and talk about the victims whatsoever, but they're looking like the 8th victim is about to happen. The comic book also starts off after the library is already closing, and instead of having Adam's aunt character just like sitting there kind of like talking with her, this other character is sitting there and he's actually doing like research and he's just paying attention, doing his own thing. And she pretty much lets him know that, yeah, he could be here, and when he's ready to leave, the door will lock behind him and that would be it. And she goes to get their sandwiches. The guy that does show up is there to return books, and instead of being hunchbacked and all that shit, he's just a normal guy, and he opens up the back of the book like he's showing her the little card on the back, like, I'm here to return books. And she's still freaking out. There was no detective thing. There was no kids. Like a lot of that stuff is pretty much just left out entirely from this episode. Let's see. When she goes into the actual like whole ending of this comic book, there is no stabbing that occurs either. It is literally just a choking scene. And what leads to that is the librarian is sitting there going off and talking about her theories on the killer. There's no security guard or anything like that in this episode. She's just talking about how she has this theory that the killer might be a woman, and just kind of like just increases the paranoia that she has. And then at the end,
did the person getting choked look like David Carradine?
No.
Oh, they look like Michael Hutchins from NXS. Okay.
But at the end of it, she's sitting there talking, and she says, well, like, I guess like in a nutshell type thing, what she ends up saying is that, you know, she's had to do this 7 times before so that the maniac would never get her. And pretty much implying that she was the maniac at large the entire time. So that pretty much brings us to like the mid part of the show. But before we go and take a commercial break real quick, let's catch up on some of these comments. And it's Dave. Oh, man. Let's see. This episode actor named Dion Basco, who appeared on the series I remember was watching, called City Guys. That was sort of a ripoff of Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell. I used to watch that every fucking day before I went to school. Ron, you probably watched that in your 30s.
Thanks. I already feel old as shit, sir.
I just teasing you, man.
You know why you don't know a lot of the stuff I know about? Because you're born 20 minutes ago and your hair's still fucking wet from the womb.
You're receding like a motherfucker, let's be honest. Let's see. There was a series I remember watching called Mystery Woman. It is about this woman who works at a bookstore and helps solve crimes. It stars Clarence Williams III. The only book
Mystery Woman
shows...
is like usually the person that I play that game, like Mystery Date, and I hope that like they'll come to life and date me for real, but it never happens. I'm so alone and I'm so sad. Please, someone love me.
You just play Mystery Date by yourself.
Somebody over 18, though, please. Somebody over 18, please.
They just keep deflating.
They do. Well, I mean, when you decide to like get into like the weird kind of puncture play, and they, real women don't like that. Apparently, I have a basement full of bodies that tell me otherwise, and so you kind of have to go with the blow up dolls, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm sorry,"
and they still look shocked.
They do. They still have a look on their face like.
Let's see. He says this episode feels like something that would have been in a series of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It deals with paranoia and fear. I can see that. To an extent, I can see it. Maybe not this exact same kind of way, but
those episodes were way better than this.
Well, yeah, they were, but. To an extent, I guess. Movies and TV shows seem to have changed their stereotypes of librarians. In the old days, they were portrayed as strict or nerdy characters. Maybe these days they're not so strict, I'd say they're still nerdy, but yeah, maybe just not as strict. Like, I'm pretty sure librarians have to go through pretty rigorous training and schooling to actually become a librarian. Yeah. I don't think you could just do it. You have to be the kind of person that's really, really into it. And obviously, if you're that into it, you're probably reading a lot and giving off some of those nerdy tendencies, if you will.
I mean, I got a stack full of books over there that are half read, like I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, and The Importance of Being Earnest, and Penthouse Forum magazine. It's half written, mainly because it's only half because the pages got stuck together.
I will say that The Importance of Being Earnest was a really good book, and I really did enjoy it. Regardless of what anybody else says, I didn't
say how good or bad it was.
We better not, motherfucker. Look. So, anyways, before we get to our thoughts on this episode, we're going to take a short little commercial break, and we'll be back in a couple of moments.
Are you a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books? Then Epic Tales from the Sewers is a podcast for you. We cover the comic books, video games, movies, cartoons, and anything else turtle-related. We talk about the toys, we talk about the cereal, we talk about all the fun things about turtles that we love so much. So give a listen. You can find us on iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. Check out Epic Tales from the Sewers, part of the Epic Airways Podcast Network. Give a listen, dudes. Cowabunga is this podcast for you.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, the bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music, pants, quoting video games that don't have dialogues, shabibans, tasty news,
Unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia.
butt breathers, uncomfortable nature facts.
or how to install a thermoflange.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Redoctopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we? We sure do.
So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week,
Like me.
worry not, gentle listener. Next week we'll have a whole new host.
A problem.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Reductopus is part of the Dorkening and Inebriar podcast networks, with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or any podcast player cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all things that make growing up awesome.
Hello, this is the Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot, but you can just call me Frank. And when I'm not stomping around the woods throwing rocks at hunters, I like to listen to the Paranormal Punchers podcast. That's right, Paranormal Punchers. They talk about all things paranormal, and they're hilarious. Go find them on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and paranormalpunches.com.
And we are back. So we discussed the comic book. We discussed the episode. And may I still say once again, I am so happy we are back to these regular Crypt episodes. Honestly, it doesn't, help in a lot of different ways too. Like, we get the Crypt Keeper actually making sense with some of the puns. So which is a pretty big thing compared to the last couple episodes, as Ron pointed out too. So anyways, we are going to go around the room, talk about this episode a little bit, and give it our own little rating too. So, Shaun, being the guest on this episode, would you like to lead us off?
Sure.
All right. I'm pretty sure you already know how our rating system works. So
Yeah. So actually, I was a little bit impressed with this one because, from the beginning of the episode, besides the little punk kids that were messing with the desk and all that, and then you see the other guy when she's having to rub the
pencil marks.
The pencil marks they put on the desk, and then she puts the knife in her pocket, and the guy looks at her. My first thought on that was, now he knows that you have a knife, so you're not going to be able to surprise him if he's trying to kill you. So, and then it goes on to the other characters, and then when she goes down to the basement and she sees somebody cutting up a book, ends up cutting the book, and then the security guard, which made me laugh, comes out and she goes, "Oh, you found my stash." He starts drinking his alcohol. I started laughing. I was like, "Oh, great." But then it was, I don't know, with this episode, there were a lot of where you're like, okay, I thought it was this person. Now I think it's this person. Now I think it's this person. And then you think it's the librarian, especially towards the end, the way she's talking. And then it ends up being the actual, I guess she's a librarian's assistant at the time.
No, she's a librarian as well.
Okay.
I don't think librarians have assistants. I think everybody who's a librarian is technically a librarian.
Okay.
If we have any listeners out there who are librarians,
If you're a nerd,
please feel free. Oh, come on. They're not nerds. They're just people.
If you know the Dewey Decimal System.
Nerds, as we talk about horror every week, and I got Star Wars tattoos. So whatever. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But and then it ends up being her the whole time. I was like, wow. My first thought was, I've dated women that were like that. That's scary. But the one thing that got me on it that I actually kind of disliked was the security guard walked in and sees it. And he just has this look on his face like, what? And then that's when she does her talking like, now I have to move again and do all this. And I was like, well, why isn't the security guard doing anything? I don't know if you caught that in the episode.
Well, there's a few flaws with the security guard.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, especially when you're talking about duties of the security guard.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty well written because there were a few people. I think three people that you, as the episode goes, you're like, oh wait, maybe it's this person, maybe it's this person, right. Which is a good writing in my opinion.
Which is based mostly off the comic books. So,
okay.
Yeah. Gotta give credit to Gaines, Stephen Dodd, and oh man, can't even think of the other guy's name. But anyways, go ahead.
But so I'd have to give it. I mean, from some of the other episodes that I've seen, I'd have to give this one an 8 out of 10 on it.
That's fair.
It was good, and it had you thinking. And then feeling like, who's who, and did they're trying to trick me? And then it comes out, you're just like, oh, okay. I thought she was gonna die.
No, she doesn't. All right, that's fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Yeah.
How about Uncle Ron? What did you think about this episode?
6.
Nothing bad.
I'm just glad it wasn't one of those two-fisted tail bullshits. I mean, it's so blah in comparison to so many other episodes that Tales from the Crypt have put out. The only reason I gave it a 6 is because it's not a Western that's not spooky or scary, or it's not some car racing bullshit with Brad Pitt. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's an episode. At least the Crypt Keepers intro and outro made sense this time, and they were funny. But yeah, no, it was just it was what it was. You know what I mean? I've seen better episodes of the Tom Arnold Show, which isn't saying much because Tom Arnold is an unfunny piece of shit. So,
wow.
Yeah. No, I want something scary. Remember being frightened by a show called Tales from the Crypt?
Remember when Tom Arnold got married?
Yeah, I'm actually watching Roseanne a lot lately, and he keeps showing up.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, go figure. Can't wait till her name changes back in the credits, and it's like, he's gone.
Well, I guess that's fair. That's fair.
So 6. I give it a 6. It was a little above average, but maybe I've just consumed too much fucking content, and at the end of the day, I'm getting better about it.
Well, maybe you should stop watching so much other bullcrap.
Like what? Like this show? Oh, I'm on it. So what can I say?
Shots fired.
Yeah. Oh my God, he knows I'm kidding.
Hurt my fucking feelers.
At least I'm not watching films that were stolen by someone else and used to make their own films.
Yeah, that tends to happen quite a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, and mainly by people in the South because you can't trust them.
No, damn Cajuns. All right, so anyways, let me go ahead and catch up on some comments before I give you guys my ratings. Let's see, we got David. Oh my God, that is long. One of my favorite movies is Tomcats. That is about these guys who bet on this staying single, and there's a scene where the character Michael, played by Jerry O'Connell, makes pass at a seemingly bashful librarian by pretending to return an overdue book, and they go on a date, and she takes him back to her place and turns out to be a wild and crazy dominatrix. I'm
sorry, that's one of I'm not one to judge, really. I'm not. But that's one of your favorite movies.
Well,
you mentioned Alfred Hitchcock two messages ago, and now you're talking about the fat kid from Stand By Me.
Each their own. What can you say? Let's see. Librarians seem to have changed. I remember long ago and back in the 80s wasn't like long ago. I'm sorry.
Now I'm insulted. That the
When you
80s
used to
was
sign
long
the library
ago.
bookmark of the book you wanted to check out. Nowadays, libraries have a self-checkout machine. Also, in the old days, libraries used to have a regular card catalog draws before computers.
Okay,
you're making me feel super fucking old. First off, I remember that shit in the 90s.
I'll field this one. No, let me field this one. First off, did you not expect things to change over the course of your lifetime as technology came into existence and came into being to make everyone's life so much easier? Did you not expect things to change? Also, if you say the 80s were long ago again, what? What'd you say?
Just not libraries. They're not allowed to change.
No, libraries are never allowed to change. And if you say the 80s were long ago again, I'm going to show you just because I'm 42 years old doesn't mean I can't start some shit.
Fair enough. So, anyways,
and this Sunday at the auditorium, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, whatever. You start doing your Hulk Hogan impression, which sounds oddly like Chuck.
Yeah.
So,
let me tell you something, dude.
So, I guess as far as my opinion on this episode, I thought overall coming back from like these Two Fisted Tales episodes, this was a little bit more pleasing. As far as the
was it now
the effects in this, which is something I tend to really gravitate towards. Obviously, all practical effects, which I absolutely love. Unfortunately, I feel like the death scene could have been a little bit more graphic compared to some of the other ones that we've had in the past on this show. This was a little bit like, I don't know, I guess it was just lacking as far as that goes. Like a choking and then a stabbing. And like realistically, the choking would have done it anyway. So the stabbing was kind of like unnecessary, like considering that, you know, like, there's barely any kind of fucking thing there to begin with. You know, she's choking a fucking old lady. That's like going and beating up somebody's fucking grandma. It's pretty fucking bad. I will say that the twist at the end was one of those that I really, really enjoyed. While watching the episode doesn't actually give away that she is the maniac, like Ron said. It, you know, it was one of those things where, like, in my head, I was thinking about it. And then when we went and checked out the comic book, it's like, oh, well, yeah, she definitely is. And it was just a very interesting little twist there, especially when you take the comic book and add it to the story that you already get with the show. Overall, though, they're like the security guard scene, like, they could have left out him having his little stash of booze. That right there just kind of gave the security guard a creepy vibe. When he's like, oh, you know, he was locking up the back door. Like, first off, how fucking long does it take you to lock a fucking door? Like, you know what I mean? Like, while he was locking
a big thing of keys and he couldn't find the right key.
Well, just think about this though. First off, while he was locking the door, somebody came to the front door and then to the back door. So, you know what I mean? Like, somebody went to both fucking doors while this guy was supposed to just lock one of them. Like, there was no, like, that part really didn't make too much sense to me. Though, him kind of, like, playing off like the other librarian was kind of a bitch was kind of unnecessary, too. I don't really see why they had to go about that, especially considering, like, she really wasn't being a bitch at all in any way. It was just like the security guard kind of had it out for her. Even like there was nothing there. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't rude. Like, yeah, she was kind of sick of the security guard, but fuck, you know, if you're sitting there trying to run a successful, I guess, like nonprofit, because that's kind of what a library is. They don't really make anything. But, you know, if you're trying to run any kind of business whatsoever, do you want your employees fucking drunk? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you know, I can see why she's not too fond of him to begin with. But to say,
he was creepy because when he took the drink, he's touching her hand and
right. That's what we call pulling a Jackie poo. Yeah, well, my bad. She was too old. But like overall, like I still don't think it was too horrible. I would give this one, if I had to rate it, probably about a 6.5. I'm kind of there with Ron, but that's just because I know we have better episodes coming. I know we've had way better episodes in the past, and when I'm comparing this to other episodes, it's not up there with some of the other ones. We have so many other episodes that just fucking blow it out of the water. For instance, next week's episode, in 2 weeks, the episode is Split Personality, which is directed by Joel Silver, which, you know, pretty fucking big deal there. I don't know if anybody knows about him and Silver Holdings, and he technically has the rights to Tales from the Crypt. There's a big trial going on with it right now, and hopefully we can get more shit soon. But this it was written by Fred Decker, so we got Fred Decker with Joel Silver, and starring Joe Pesci. So we got a pretty fucking cool episode coming up next, which I'm pretty fucking excited for. And then next week,
you're excited. You should feel these nipples.
I need to zoom out. No. But next week on our episode, though, for 2G1C, we will have our buddy Perry joining us as we talk about the very controversial Tom Six film, The Human Centipede, which should be a pretty different discussion, to say the least. Ron is like, I know Shaun will probably be chiming in on this one.
I just want to be in the front if I'm the centipede.
You just want to be in the front?
Yeah.
Can we watch the South Park episode? Can we watch the South Park episode Human Centipede instead?
So, well, hold on. So we got Shaun would like to be the front. Now, hypothetically, Ron, if you had to be part of the Human Centipede,
kill me.
Where would you want to be?
Kill me.
So the middle.
No, just fucking put a bullet in my head.
Well, no. If you had to pick one.
Nope, murder me.
No, come on. If you had
I
to
want
pick
you
one.
to cut my fucking head off slowly before I have my mouth attached to anybody's ass or anybody's I want no.
If I had to pick one, I'm going the same with Shaun. I would like to be first. So hopefully me and Shaun aren't part of the same centipede, because that's gonna fucking suck. You won't even give one? Oh, come on. That's as bad as somebody being like, I'm not doing the Death Note challenge now.
Well, I'm not going to do that. But the problem with that wasn't that they weren't going to do it. It was the fact that they agreed to do it and then bitched out like a little fucking a bitch,
right?
Like a fucking pussy, like a goddamn pussy candle.
It's a hypothetical. Where would you rather be?
No, dead in the ground.
1, 2, or 3.
Worm food.
The first one dead, I'm pretty sure was the middle one, right?
Well, don't spoil it for the rest of the fucking weirdos that like that shit.
Well, I'm just going to assume you picked the middle then. That's the first one dead. What else can I say?
I want to be the baby underneath the pedal in the car in part 2, if that's the case.
So you like part 2 a lot more?
No, I hate part 2 even more.
Oh man, we're gonna have so much fun next week. That's for sure.
I'm gonna be downtown partying like a fucking human being, because I'm gonna go outside and get some fresh air.
You're gonna be in the middle of that party?
I might be at the front of that party. But no, it's yeah.
Is it a 3-person party?
No, it's probably like 50 or 60 people are gonna be there. So
so it's more like part 3.
Full second.
Oh, wow. Part 3 was horrible.
It really was.
All 3 of them were horrible, Mr. Smithson. All 3
of them.
Oh,
whatever. I'm personally
wastes of cinema.
Even though some people might not like it, I think Tom Six has a very different outlook on things, and I'm very excited to talk about this next movie. Not just that, but I'm really excited for some of the things that Tom Six has that haven't been released yet.
I would rather watch a Zack Snyder, Eli Roth double feature than watch any of the Human Centipede films again.
Well, that's on you. That's on you.
Well, I'm suffering either way. It's just how much.
Well, that's your personal opinion.
What about Monster Dog?
I'm stating it. See, I'm allowed to say what I want because this is America. I'm not going to tell people, hey, could you not talk about me?
Fair enough.
There's a
fair enough.
Two.
No, of Monster Dog?
No, I'm kidding.
It fucking better not be.
Oh, man. So anyways, Shaun, why don't you tell everybody where they can check you out and, your store, everything else, man.
Yeah, you can check me out at Smithson Creations Handcrafted Woodworking on Facebook, and also Shaun Smithson on Facebook. And then I also have Instagram, and I forget what the name is on that one. I don't go on there very often. But yeah, you can find me. Hit me up, message me if you have some ideas and stuff you want to do. I'm willing to work with you, and I also do great prices. So.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. So anyways, man, thank you very much for joining us tonight on this episode. It's been a fun time. I'm going to go ahead and drop you below, and we're going to wrap this shit up. Feel free to stay down there if you want. And great. So there we go, man. Another episode down.
Yeah.
You don't seem very happy.
I don't know. Let's talk about something happy. New episode of Uncle Ron's Drive-In at UncleRon'sDrive-In.com will be dropping in a few hours. So that's something. I talk about the Forever Purge.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, I am. There's no maybe about whether or not I'm going to do it. It's going to happen, but
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you'll have that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought this episode went by pretty fun. I had a good time. I'm sorry you're not enjoying the show as much as I thought you would.
It's just right this second. It has nothing to do with the show.
Whatever.
Look, okay, it has everything to do with you and your black fucking hat, okay? I hate your fucking hat. That's the whole thing right now. I hate your fucking hat. You happy?
Is it because it's black?
Yes. I hate your black hat.
Racist.
Oh, shut up. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm not racist.
Right. Yeah, Wisconsin. Sure.
Okay, we may be one of the most racist states in the entire nation, but that doesn't mean that I'm a racist.
Maybe.
It's not like I'm from Louisiana.
I don't know. Anyways, man, I've had a good time with it. I'm happy with this, and I really enjoyed this episode. I'm happy we're able to get Shaun on. Shaun's a good friend. He's a big supporter of the show, and it's nice to be able to give back a little bit and help promote him and some of the woodworking.
This is the first time I've ever met him. I have no idea who this man is.
Go fuck yourself. You know who he is. Dumbass. He is a really, really good guy, and I really hope that everybody does go check out Smithson Creations. Check out some of the things he's doing. I mean, woodworking is one of the hardest things to do as far as I'm concerned. And
unless you wake up in the morning and you woodwork, then it's not that tough.
It's the only kind of working Ron knows.
That's right. That's right, because I roll over and go to work.
He does.
That's my job.
But, I have a lot of appreciation for anybody that can do something like that, and especially somebody that can make a living doing the things that they love, especially when it's something that's such a difficult thing to do. And, if you have the chance to go check out some of the stuff, I'm sure he would appreciate it and love it too. Ron, do you have anything else that you would like to promote before we wrap this bitch up?
UncleRon'sDrive-In.com. Oh, actually there is. Go to youtube.com/Uncle Ron. I'm Uncle Ron, and subscribe. It's free. I'm almost to 500 subscribers. I'm pushing for that. I've been pushing for it for a while. So go ahead and hit subscribe. And yeah, it'll be fun. And I can't wait to be told how I make stupid comments again.
Anyways, you know, it's been fun, man. I love this stuff. Also, everybody, if you can and you haven't yet, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Tales from the Podcast 2G1C. We appreciate any subscribe and all love and everything, for real. We always have a good time, and we hope you like what we put out. And I guess with that being said, the crypt is closed.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.